Hey, it's Angela Marie Hutchinson, founder of Breaking Into Hollywood. This podcast is a beta test produced using Google's Podcast LM with AI voices. The following content is based on actual research from several trusted sources of mine. If you share or reuse this info, please credit Breaking Into Hollywood. Thank you and enjoy.
Hey, we're doing something a bit different, giving you an inside look. We call it Mandate Monday.
That's right.
And we're a source for this.
It comes from Angela Marie Hutchinson. She's, head of IP and talent ventures at RPM Talent Agency.
A major player.
Absolutely. And she also founded Breaking Into Hollywood. Her insights are, well, they're gold.
For sure. So when we talk about this information today, think of it as intel or mandate.
Yeah. We're pulling back the curtain on the specific kind of insider content needs from some huge players.
Oh, interesting. Like who?
Amazon, Food Network, AMC, and Comedy Central. We've got some internal documents, source materials.
Wow. Okay. So not just the usual press releases.
Exactly. Our mission here is to really sift through this stuff, pull out the key nuggets about what they're actually looking to buy or make. Think of it as, a shortcut to understanding their strategy, like getting a peek at the blueprints they're using.
That's incredibly valuable because these kinds of sources, they usually reveal really specific insights, right?
Yeah.
Not just general preferences.
Totally.
So we're not just talking about what they want, but digging into the why behind it.
That's the plan, connected to demographics, trends, business goals.
Right. And that raises a big question, doesn't it? How do these super detailed mandates actually shape the whole content landscape we end up watching?
Good question. Let's start trying to answer it. Let's unpack Amazon's vision first.
Okay, Amazon. Big ambitions there, usually.
Seems like it. Their main goals for content are pretty clear from this. They want stuff that offers, quote, great self-promotion.
Ah, okay. So content is marketing, essentially.
Feels like it. Also involving big household name talent or a big piece of IP.
Right. IP established intellectual property, like a famous book series or a movie universe, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And it has to be brand friendly, naturally, but also have, and this is key, a sense of urgency to view.
Urgency. So programming that makes you feel like you need to watch it now to stay in the loop.
Yeah. And crucially, stay subscribed.
That really points to their broader strategy, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, connecting the dots, it's using content as a powerful tool, a marketing lever.
To drive subscriptions and engagement across the whole Amazon ecosystem, not just Prime Video.
Precisely. Every single piece of content seems designed to feed into that larger machine.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it gets even more specific, which is, fascinating.
Like how?
They have a big priority on sports for unscripted shows, reality docs.
Okay, sports. But what kind of sports content?
Well, here's the twist. It's less about the game itself, more the characters. They're specifically looking for docu-follow or true wives in a specific team or something of that nature.
Ah, so personality-driven. Like the human drama around the sport.
Exactly. Tied to specific people, it suggests they're betting on that human element for long-term engagement.
That's a different angle than just live game rights. Does that shift the kind of talent they're looking for then?
You'd think so. It's about compelling stories around individuals.
And there's a detail here about Freevee too, right? Their free streaming tier.
Yeah, good point. Projects for Freevee need to have been greenlit under Freevee. It's about boosting viewership in specific categories there.
Okay.
They even cited an example like, wear whatever the F you want.
Right, okay. That certainly suggests a certain unscripted vibe they're going for there.
Gives you a real flavor of it, yeah. So let's get into some of the specific categories they're after.
Okay.
In food, they're looking at Freevee shows needing a boost, like Season 2 of America's Test Kitchen or Dish It Out.
So propping up existing Freevee content in that space.
Seems like it. For game content, they mentioned Beast Games. Apparently, it broke all their records.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, brought in a younger demo, which they note is usually hard to get and convert.
Interesting. So leaning into that success.
Definitely. They're also seeking other creator-led shows, but with specific requirements.
Like
It needs a robust audience split pretty evenly between the U.S. and international.
Okay, global appeal.
Yeah, and it needs to be long-form content and already a successful business on its own.
So finding established online creators who are ready for that next step, essentially.
That's how it reads. Now, for home content,
Yeah.
the emphasis is really heavy on that big-name talent or big piece of IP again.
Consistent theme there.
Very. and a character-driven approach. Plus, a little note for creators. Brand partnerships funding is always helpful.
Good practical advice there.
Yeah.
What about true crime? Always a big genre.
Yep, true crime and true con. They want docuseries, specifically what they call popcorn crime.
Popcorn crime? What does that mean?
Stuff with basic awareness, but also a current day thread. Needs to be global, ripped from the headlines, exclusive access, and offer unique story.
So, high profile, maybe a bit buzzy, but with a fresh angle.
Exactly. And they were very explicit. They do not another John Benet Ramsey project.
Okay, message received. Some stories have definitely hit saturation point.
You could say that, because we've all binged enough of certain cases.
Totally true.
It's also important to note what they're not looking for right now.
Oh, yeah.
Dating and natural history, those are off the table for Amazon at the moment.
Good to know. Saves people pitching the wrong thing.
Definitely. Okay, so that's Amazon's wide net. Should we shift gears to Food Network?
Let's do it. From the everything store to the kitchen.
Right. And you might think Food Network is predictable, just cooking shows. But their mandates actually show they're looking for, well, fresher ingredients.
Unintended.
Maybe a little. They want evergreen content, but with a big hook.
Okay, hook. What kind of hook?
Doesn't have to be savory or sweet necessarily. They mentioned Wildcard Kitchen as an example, something a bit different.
So moving beyond standard formats.
Seems like it. Shows also need interesting titles, clear marketing hooks angle, and the potential to be their next big IP plays.
IP again. Building franchises, even in food content. What's fascinating here is how they're pushing beyond that traditional chef versus someone competition format.
Right.
They seem to be actively exploring other kinds of competition that still have real stakes, almost asking themselves, what's our version of Master Chef? Something new.
That's a great way to put it. It's an evolution moving towards broader engagement.
Definitely.
And it's interesting how they're balancing that. They're keeping shows like Girl Meets Farm, The Pioneer Woman, the comfort food, you could say.
For their core audience, yeah.
But they also want more interesting marketing, broader and experimental stuff, especially for certain themes like Mondays, baking BBQ in the summer, or Sundays. Tentpole shows.
Tentpole's the big flagships.
Right, and shows that can potentially move over to Max.
That cross-platform strategy again.
Yeah.
Feeding the bigger streaming service.
Exactly. And a keynote, they are not doing new stand and stirs on daytime.
Okay, so those classic instructional shows where someone just cooks at the counter, less of a priority now.
Seems that way. They basically have two main buckets now.
Which are?
Bucket one, core viewer content. Needs to be highly repeatable, cost-effective. Think Chopped.
Makes sense. Reliable performers.
Bucket two, Buzzy on Max. This needs hooky marketing, gameplay, broader big tent appeal.
Got it. And what about budgets, things like that?
Budgets are around 300, 500Ks per hour. New series orders are typically 6 to 8 episodes.
Okay, fairly standard range for that kind of cable content.
And they're actively looking to cut costs, like shooting in other places. They mentioned Worst Cooks in America in London as an example.
Smart. Using location to manage the budget. And the target demo?
Still primarily, mostly women, 25-54.
Okay, so innovating, but still keeping that core audience in mind.
Exactly. Okay, shall we move out of the kitchen and over to AMC?
Yeah, let's see what they're up to. Known for prestige drama, but what about unscripted?
Well, their focus seems really tight, mostly on leveraging their existing hits.
Makes sense. Their scripted IP is huge.
Their primary goal is stated as create supplemental projects for their scripted shows.
Supplemental projects, like what?
They give examples like a survival format connected to The Walking Dead.
Okay, I could see that.
Or even Bob Odenkirk pretending to be a lawyer in real life, which sounds interesting. Or a docuseries about a real-life Walter White.
Wow. So really leaning into those established universes and characters.
Absolutely.
Strategically, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's all about deepening fan engagement, right? Expanding those narrative worlds people already love, giving fans more touch points, maybe drawing new viewers into the original shows.
It's a smart way to maximize the value of their biggest successes. They're also looking at sports, but they seem quite picky.
Oh, how so?
Seeking 40-minute series at the bar, focusing on amazing stories with strong partners in the limited doc space.
Right, quality over quantity there, maybe, and focused storytelling.
Seems like it. They're open to follow docs and other formats, but specifically interested in the major leagues, MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, PGA golf.
Got it. big leagues only.
And beyond that, they're still developing in the Anne Rice universe, zombies, vampires, witches.
Right, there are other big IP play.
And also still interested in crime content generally, so that door's still open.
Good to know. Okay, one more network to cover.
Yep, let's wrap up the network review with Comedy Central.
Okay, Comedy Central. What's their focus?
It seems very much about a cost-effective, high-volume approach to comedy.
Low cost, high volume.
Yeah.
That's a familiar model in some parts of TV.
Definitely. Their core focus is the low-cost, high-volume comedy format space, and they're actively programming stand-up specials.
Stand-up makes sense for them. What about other formats?
They're looking for sketches and series. Those series could be exclusive to Paramount Plus or shared between Comedy Central and Paramount Plus or just for Comedy Central.
So flexibility in where the content lands, but feeding that Paramount Plus ecosystem again.
Exactly. And a critical point. The talent should be people with comedy improv experience, not just funny people.
Ah, that's an important distinction. They want trained performers, people who understand comedic structure and timing.
Right. Not just, someone funny on TikTok.
Which raises an interesting challenge, doesn't it? When the focus is heavily on low cost and high volume, how do you ensure creative quality and foster diverse voices?
That's a really crucial question. It's a tough balance.
Yeah, it's a potential tension there.
They seem aware of it, though. The notes say they have a big push for diverse voices and finding talent who are about to break out.
Okay, so actively looking for emerging talent from different backgrounds.
Yeah, they reference projects like Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Night Watch as sort of examples maybe of formats or talent discovery. It's a bit unclear, but the intent seems there. They're also developing a bunch of ideas in new UK formats.
Importing formats, another cost-effective strategy.
And they're open to documentary, factual, formatted shows as long as they fit that low-cost, high-volume production model.
So comedy-adjacent factual, maybe?
Could be. Other interests include animation, clip shows, always cost-effective, and live-action comedy movies, specifically targeting Halloween comedies, think Scary Movie, and holiday comedies like Christmas Vacation.
Okay, specific seasonal movie needs.
Overall, they want funny-first, evergreen formats that are versatile enough to become franchises.
Franchises. There's that IP word again, even in comedy formats.
Yeah, they cite examples like Tosh.0, Ridiculousness, Wild and Out, Impractical Jokers, shows that can run and maybe spin off.
Got it. Makes sense for that high-volume model. What about their target audience?
Aiming for co-viewing, so people watching together, but it skews a little bit male. And geographically, they want to reach audiences in both coastal cities and middle America, so a pretty broad reach.
Right. Okay, so we've gone through Amazon, Food Network, AMC, Comedy Central. That's a lot of specific detail.
It really is.
So if we step back now and try to connect the dots, what does this all mean when you look at these mandates together? What are the big patterns?
Good question. What jumps out to you?
Well, a few powerful themes really emerge, I think, highlighting the current content landscape. First, and we've hit this a few times, the power of IP is just undeniable.
Absolutely. From Amazon wanting big IP to AMC building around their shows to Comedy Central wanting franchises.
Exactly. Established intellectual property is king right now. It reduces risk, brings a built-in audience.
Definitely. What else?
Second, strategic platform expansion is everywhere. You see it clearly.
Yeah. Food Network feeding Max, Comedy Central feeding Paramount Plus Neat Limp.
And Amazon using content across its entire ecosystem. It's not just about filling one channel anymore. It's about synergy.
Right. Makes total sense.
Then there's the constant drive for cost efficiency and volume.
We saw that clearly with Comedy Central's model.
And Food Network shooting internationally to save money. It's an industry-wide pressure to optimize production budgets.
True. What about audiences?
That's interesting, too. You see a mix of niche versus broad appeal.
Like Food Network targeting women 25-54, Comedy Central skewing a bit male.
While Amazon's going for broad, even global reach. So different strategies depending on the platform's goals.
Okay.
Another thing is innovation within familiar genres. Nobody wants the exact same thing as last year.
Right, like Food Network asking, what's our master chef? Not just repeating old formats.
Exactly. Fresh takes on proven concepts. Pushing boundaries a bit, but staying within genres viewers understand and like.
Keep it familiar, but make it fresh.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And lastly, I think there's a real pull towards authenticity and real-world connection.
How do you see that?
Well, in the interest in true crime, sure. But also the focus on real-life figures, personalities in sports docs, the push for diverse voices at Comedy Central.
Ah, okay. Content that feels grounded. or offers a unique, maybe more authentic perspective.
Yeah, something that resonates on that level.
Yeah?
It suggests viewers are looking for that connection.
Wow. Okay, so IP, platform strategy, cost efficiency, audience targeting, innovating genres, and authenticity, that really covers a lot.
It paints a pretty clear picture of the forces shaping what gets made right now.
What an incredible deep dive this has been, really pulling back the curtain on these specific content blueprints.
It gives you such a different perspective, seeing the precise strategic thinking behind it all.
It really does. And while, each network clearly has its own unique needs and priorities, these common themes, these strategic currents we just talked about, they're definitely shaping the whole industry.
Absolutely. It's not just about having a great idea anymore. It's about having a great idea that fits a very specific, constantly evolving puzzle piece for that network or that platform and their audience.
Yeah, that really lands differently now. It definitely shifts how you look at the shows you watch, doesn't it? You start seeing the business strategy ticking away behind the scenes.
For sure.
So for you, our listener, maybe here's a final thought to chew on from all this. If you are a creator today holding these specific mandates we just discussed, which network's vision would your next big idea align with most? And maybe more importantly, how would you tailor your pitch to hit exactly what they're looking for, according to these notes, while still managing to bring something truly fresh and original to the table?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is. Something to think about until our next deep dive.
Hey, Angela Marie Hutchinson here again. Thanks for listening. If you have thoughts or feedback, I definitely want to know. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Take care.